In April 2022, me and my partner Josh spent 9 days travelling around Iceland in a 4x4 on the trip of a lifetime. Here's part 2 of 3 in a series documenting our adventures. I hope you enjoy.
Guys, you'll never guess what. I've woken up this morning and it is a winter wonderland outside. I mean, okay, I know you're saying, Chloe, it's Iceland, it snows, but I come from the south of England and it like never snows. And if it does, it's like a sprinkling that lasts literally 5 minutes, not even exaggerating. So to see something like this is absolutely out of this world. Seeing snow is incredible. Seeing snow in a mountainous landscape is even more incredible. It's so magical. Just look at what my first sight was this morning when I opened this window. What? Look how deep it is already. And the mountains up there. And it's still snowing.
Made lunch sandwiches with our breakfast buffet.
Caught in the act. Stealing from the breakfast bar.
On day 4 of our trip, we headed off into Skaftafell National Park to try and complete the epic 7-hour Skaftafell Shady Loop. After saying hello to the cutest and fluffiest dog I have ever met, we spoke to a ranger who told us the route was closed due to the dangerous icy and snowy conditions. However, he offered us an alternative that was still apparently closed to the public, but he thought it would probably be safe, so he gave us the go-ahead to hop over the rope as long as we were sensible and cautious along the way. So we had the whole trail, the whole mountain, and the whole glacier to ourselves, walking into the pristine white and unbroken snow the whole time. The quiet was blissful, and the views absolutely spectacular.
So today the plan was to do a full day of hiking. It was about a 20-kilometre route, about 12.5 miles, but the path is actually shut off at the moment. I think we were actually rather naive to think that we could hike it just because of the time of year and the conditions, but instead we're doing a smaller hike, about 2 to 3 hours, and it goes up over the mountain with views over the largest glacier in Europe. And it is just absolutely stunning. It's not a bad plan B, I reckon. I'm a bit lost for words. It's just absolutely stunning.
When we reached the top of the hill, we found ourselves on a high plateau. It was raw and exposed and the ultimate playground for the winds. They were fierce, stinging the face and freezing my eyes in their sockets. But it was so beautiful to watch the snow snaking across the ground, the powder painting the otherwise invisible path of the wind. And as someone who has never hiked in winter conditions before, it made me feel a bit like an explorer. Just a black figure hunkering down and trudging slowly forward with the elements whipping around me. After a few hours of walking, our path rejoined the tourist trail as we reached Svartifoss. Svartifoss means black falls in Icelandic. The black columns formed from the rapid cooling and contracting of lava. With its striking black basalt columns, it felt like a geological amphitheatre created with the purpose of putting the waterfall centre stage.
I feel like I've got my own little microclimate going on in here. I'm in a impenetrable barrier of blubber and layers. So toasty, yet so cold outside. This is the beauty of layering up properly, I guess. I finally did it right.
As barren as Iceland was, it wasn't devoid of life by any means. We were just a bit too early in the year for the puffins and seabirds to have fully returned, but we nearly walked right into a pair of ptarmigans in the winter plumage. Their camouflage was so good. They weren't bothered by us at all, perfectly happy for us to stand and stare for a while. But the bird we saw the most of by an absolute mile was the redwing. While common in Iceland, I still found it remarkable when I came across them every time, because they were just so tame. In my experience, redwings that migrate to England in winter are so skittish, but here they almost behave like blackbirds, just hopping around, relaxed and calm, very happy for you to get up close. On our way back to the cabin, we found a small track leading away from the road and decided to follow it. It took us to a path that allowed us to get right up close to the glacier. It was breathtaking, but slightly unnerving too. It felt like such a brutal force, as if there was a real spirit and entity to the glacier, cold and unforgiving. The wind whipped right off it, skimming the glacier lake and into our faces. It was strong and biting, the coldest wind we experienced the whole trip, and it almost felt like the wind was trying to push us away, warning us to leave the looming mass of ice well alone. In the evening, we were treated to one of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. It was the perfect end to an incredible day.
Hello. So today was another amazing day, although it was a bit of a change of plans on what we had intended to do, because actually I don't know if you can hear, but it is so windy today. And I know that Iceland is a windy country. I don't think I really understood what windy meant, because it's all relative to what you've experienced as windy. But oh my god, is Iceland windy, like a whole new level of windy I didn't know existed. And so we'd intended to do this canyon walk today, but the road was closed due to the wind as we were driving along the south coast, because we're now in the southeast of Iceland in a place called Hoffen. Oh, it's so windy. The whole edge of that road, there was snow blowing over it, really strong winds. We could feel it rocking the car a bit. We passed a big camper van at one point it looked like it was going to get toppled over, to be honest. It really shouldn't have been out on the road. It was skidding all over the place on the ice as well, so it was a bit ropey. We did, however, get to see a bit more of the same glacier that we saw the day before. It's massive, so wherever you go, it's just there still. We also got to see Diamond Beach, where parts of the glacier wash up on the shore. Looks like diamonds on the beach, hence the name.
For a country that works with a very limited colour palette, the shades of blue we enjoyed on this day looked almost unreal, as if someone had dialed up the saturation, the sky, glacial lake and icebergs all competing to produce the best shades of blue. Crows soared in the skies for what looked like more pleasure and fun than to go anywhere in particular, making the most of the wind whipping down off the glacier. It was a beautiful place, and extremely calming to watch the icebergs bobbing on the water, and even more wonderful to stand by the shore and listen to the gentle clinking of the ice rattling against one another. A short drive down the road and we reached Diamond Beach. This beach is right next to the outwash plain of the glacial lake we had just walked around, meaning chunks of icebergs are routinely washed out to sea and then thrown up on the shoreline. The contrast of the white ice against the black sand makes them appear like diamonds as they glisten in the sun, giving the beach its name.
Then we did plan and we did get to the Vestrahorn area of the coastline against a big mountain, but again it was just horrendously windy. The sand was whipping right into our faces. It got everywhere. It really stung in my eyes, eyelashes, nostrils, teeth, gloves, pockets, absolutely everywhere. So we'd intended to do some long walks around there as well, but the weather just was not having it. But still, Iceland, I mean, you could just see out my window. Everything about Iceland is just beautiful. So even though a lot of the things we planned for today didn't happen, I still feel great, still had a great day.
Vestrahorn was stupidly breathtaking, but it was also stupidly windy. I've never experienced wind like it, and it was all I could do to hold my camera still as the sand charged towards us across the dunes. It was the perfect place to summarise my experience of Iceland, beautiful and brutal in equal measure.
You are made of gold, show no mercy. As this all unfolds, you will not be forgotten. Place your bare feet on the ground, let me hold you. You have already been found if I told you. You won't have to worry about a thing. I am here.
Thank you so much for joining me on my adventure. If you have been to Iceland yourself, I hope it brought back some good memories, and if you are hoping to go in the future, the most incredible place awaits you. In the final chapter of our adventure, we find and hike a secret canyon, visit more incredible beaches and waterfalls, and hike to the second highest waterfall in all of Iceland. Until next time, I hope you have a lovely week.
It looks like water. Look at it. Ooh.
As this
Like
all
waves from
unfolds,
above.
you